On a cold April night in 1912, the unsinkable Titanic met its end in the icy waters of the Atlantic. The world watched in horror as a legend was born from a tragedy. But what if the story we've been told for over a century is a lie? What if the ship that sank was not the Titanic at all, but her older, damaged sister, the RMS Olympic? This is the hidden story behind the legend. A conspiracy so vast, it would have rewritten history. It begins not with the Titanic, but with her older sister, the RMS Olympic, a ship of identical size and splendor. Just a few months into her career, the Olympic was in a serious accident. In a narrow strait, she collided with a British warship, the HMS Hawke. The damage was severe, and a court of inquiry ruled that the Olympic was at fault. This ruling was a financial disaster for the White Star Line. Their brand new ship was damaged, and their insurance claim was denied. But there was a solution, a risky, audacious, and secret plan. At the same time, the nearly identical Titanic was still being completed in the same Belfast shipyard. The conspiracy theory claims that in a quiet corner of that shipyard, the White Star Line performed a covert switch. The damaged Olympic was rechristened the Titanic. The purpose? To sail her on one final voyage and sink her on purpose, claiming a massive insurance payout on the brand new insured ship. The plan was simple. The iceberg would be a convenient excuse. The lifeboats would be launched, and the passengers would be saved. The money would cover the company's massive losses. Even the most powerful man in America, J.P. Morgan, is said to have been in on the plot. He was scheduled to be on the maiden voyage, but at the very last moment, he cancelled his trip, fueling the fires of suspicion for a century. But the plan, if it existed, went terribly wrong. The ship hit the iceberg in a way no one could have predicted. The damage was catastrophic. And because the ship was supposedly just meant to be abandoned at sea, there weren't enough lifeboats for everyone. The grand financial scheme turned into one of the most tragic disasters in history. The conspiracy claims that the ship we now see at the bottom of the Atlantic is not the Titanic we believe it to be, but the older, damaged Olympic. And the real Titanic went on to serve for decades under the name Olympic, a silent accomplice to the greatest maritime cover-up in history. So, is it true? Is this the hidden story of the Titanic? Most historians say no. They point to the overwhelming physical evidence, the ship's different hull numbers, the subtle design differences, and the sheer impossibility of keeping such a massive secret. But even if it's a myth, the Olympic switch reminds us that even with one of history's most famous stories, there are always deeper waters to explore.
Thanks for watching. If you want to help us turn 0 views into unlimited views, make sure to like, subscribe and share this video with a friend.